Hello designers. Let's do a quick run through of the animal initials assignment that we have today in class. It's just a fun way to kind of kick off the class and get a little taste of what you can actually do in Adobe InDesign, because everybody loves animals. I love elephants. Someone gave this to me and I didn't know if the trunk is up, it's good luck. So that's kind of a cool thing. All right, let's dive right into the exercise. And the first step of the exercise is to head over to unsplash.com. So let's do that. Unsplash is a really great resource for copyright-free images. It's really the best one to use. There are other ones out there as well, but you probably can find everything you need on Unsplash. So think about your favorite animal or your animal totem or an animal you love and go ahead and search for it. Mine happens to be a raven because they seem to follow me wherever I go. When you're trying to find an image, try to find one with a really great focal point. Not too far away, but a close-up focal point, because that's always good for composition reasons. So I'm going to choose this guy because he's cool. And when you hover over the image, there's a little button in the lower right-hand corner to download. So go ahead and click on that, and that will download your animal to your desktop. So go ahead and drag him. I put mine right on the desktop because that's the easiest for me. And let's jump right over into InDesign. Hopefully you didn't have any problems getting this downloaded. All right, so the first thing we're going to do in our InDesign workspace is to create a new document for print 7 by 7 inches. So it's a square tile. So over on the left, there's a button that says Create New. Let's go ahead and click that. And a new document window will come up. InDesign is cool because it gives you a lot of settings already at the top here for print, web, mobile. And the sizes are right up here, so you can just quickly create whatever it is you're doing. We're creating something for print, so we're going to click on the print. We are going to title it Your Name, Animal Initials. The size of our document, like we said, it's going to be 7 by 7. You can just double click in these windows and type in a value, or you can use these little up and down arrows to get to the value you need. We're going to turn off this little button that says Facing Pages. Facing Pages is for a book or a magazine where you're going to have multiple pages. So because we're just doing one page, we're going to unclick that. And let's leave all the other presets as they are and click Create. Yes, okay. So here's our 7 by 7 tile that we created. What is the next thing? Okay, so we're going to be working with some type, our initials. Mine are CR. So over in the left-hand side of your application window, you'll see the toolbar. There's a little caret right at the top that you can click if you want to expand it into 2 little columns, or if you like it as one long one. I like one long one because it gives you the most space in your window to work. So over here in your toolbar, let's grab the T, which is the type tool. And then you'll see a little cursor on your page. And let's just, the pink lines are the margin. The outer edge is the outer edge of your page. So let's click in right in the margin there. Click and hold on the mouse button and drag out a really big text box. This is called a text frame. And you'll see a flashing cursor now, which means, okay, you made a text frame. Let's input some type. So hold your shift key down and put your initials in there. Mine are CR. The next thing we need to do is style this text. So let's double click it, or you can click and drag to highlight it. And then if you go up to Windows, type, character, your text character styling panel will come up. So in here, let's choose a font. If you click on the arrow right next to the font name, you'll see a list of fonts come up, and you can kind of cruise through those until you see something. We're going to need something really bold and wide, so when we put our animal in there, we can see it. I'm going to choose Aachen. Any fat wide type will do. And then you'll see controls in your character panel here. The first one is font size. If you hover over these, you'll get a little tooltip pop up, which is nice because it helps remind you, what do all these buttons do? So on font size, again, you can click up and down with the arrows. There's also a drop down, which you can quickly go to a big size. Or if you need a really big size like we do, you can type a value right into the box and hit return. So let's make these really huge and try to take up most of our tile. So I just made mine super huge. And if you look down here in the right-hand corner of my screen, there's a little red box now with a plus in it. And that is letting me know that, hey, there's text in this box, but it doesn't fit in this text frame. So let's hop back up to your selection arrow, which is the top one. And let's grab a corner here of our text frame and stretch it out. And you can go way out into the gray area of your desktop with these frames. It doesn't matter. And then if you click and hold on that text frame, you can move it around. And you can kind of put it in the middle of your tile. There's a button I want you to be aware of right now. It's up here in your contextual menu at the top of your application window. It's over toward the right-hand side. It's called Fit to Frame Content, or Fit Frame to Content. So if you click that, what it does is it takes your text frame, which can be, you just stretched it out. It could be anywhere. It's gigantic. It's crazy. And if you hit that Fit Frame to Content button, it snugs it up onto your content, because you'll find that soon you'll have tons of text frames and elements on your page, and it just helps keep things tidy. So now you see the blue text frame around your type. Nice and tight and tidy. So there it is. Now, in order to take this text and turn it into image windows, we are going to highlight it. To affect it, you have to select it. That's a mantra you need to learn and remember. So be sure you select it, and you can tell because you'll see the little anchor points, these squares around your text frame show up. So if you click outside, you don't see it. If you click it, you do see it. So when your type frame is selected, go up to your very top InDesign menu and click on Type. And right about halfway down there is a option for Create Outlines. So let's do that. Let's click on Create Outlines. Can also be, if you want to shortcut, Control-Shift-O. Create Outlines. And now our text is two little separate pieces of type. Pretty cool. So now here's where our bird's going to come in. We're going to click on that text frame still. And on our keyboard, we're going to hit Command D for drop. Command D is drop, and that means you're going to drop an image into your frame, whatever it is that's highlighted, or you can drop them right onto your page. So go find that image of your animal, click it, and then click open. And you'll see right away it's populated into our text frames, which are letters. Obviously, it's not fitting in there. I'm not even sure what part of the picture this is. It's way too huge. So before you do anything else, go back up to your contextual menu, like the fit frame to content, fit content to frame. There are two other little buttons here, and one is fill frame proportionally. The other is fit content proportionally. The first one's the one you want to click on. Fill frame proportionally. And what that does is it fills your frame, your image frames, which they are now, proportionally with the image you chose. Cool. Now, you might want to adjust where this image is showing through the windows on your page. So if you click into the image and then double click, you'll see a little brown line show up, and that's letting you know that you are moving the image behind the frame. So the frame, your windows, the CR, they're going to stay where they are. But now you're going to be able to move and adjust the image behind your frame. So I'm going to grab mine, and a little hand comes up and shift him over. So I think his eyeball is pretty cool. Now he's not filling my frame, so I'm going to want to increase the size of that image. A good way to do this is to view, zoom out so you can see more of your page. And a great way to learn to do this right away is your space bar, your command key, and then your option key. So you can see our little magnifying glass change from a plus to a minus. So we'll want to click him on a minus, and then we're able to see our image, which is a tall rectangle. And I want to make that much bigger to fit into my frame. So let's grab the corner, and be sure you always hold your shift key down when you're scaling images, because that scales them proportionately, and that's really important. When you are working with images, you don't want a stretched out, distorted, weird looking image. So press your shift key and then grab the corner of your image, your animal image, and just click, hold, and pull. And you'll see that your animal is getting bigger. Oh, that looks pretty good. I'm going to make him bigger still. Again, I'm going to hold my shift key and grab this brown image frame. Make him big. Oh yeah, look, that's getting cool. Yes. Okay. When you have it, how you like it, I want you to press the W key on your keyboard, and that'll give you a quick look at how your, it's a print preview. Like this is how it's looking. So when you push your W, it gives you all your guides and rules that you need and all the frame edges. And then when you push the W, it goes away. It's a nice way to kind of see without all the other guides and things in the way of what your finished product is going to look like. So I think that's pretty cool. The last part of this assignment is to grab your text box again, click and drag out a text frame on your page, and you'll see your cursor start. And I'd like you to add your name. And then I'd like to know why you chose the animal you chose. which is true. Just need to follow me, especially in weird, critical times. Okay, so we've entered some text into that text box. If you grab your selection key, you can move it anywhere. You can go outside, which we don't want. But let's style this because it doesn't look that good, just tiny down there. It's not looking that great. So let's grab our text tool again. And let's click inside our text box. And if we can either click and drag over everything, or we can click inside and hit Command A, which selects everything. Now up here at the top in your contextual menu, because we're on the type tool, you'll see these positions. So let's hit centered, because I think that might look good. And then let's make our name a lot bigger, because we need to be aware of visual hierarchy and we want our name to really stand out. And contrast in graphic design is what we strive for. So highlight your name, and then again you can go over to your character panel, which is Command T on your keyboard to get up your character styling panel. Command T, that's one you'll use a lot. All right, so let's zoom up our name and let's add some tracking, which means we can squish our letters together or we can stretch them apart. Tracking is cool. So just your name, and then go ahead and highlight the little line of type below that, and you can adjust that independently also. All right, looks pretty good. It's not really centered on my page though. We centered the type inside this text frame. But to center it to your page, you need to stretch the edges of your text frame out to the edges of your page. And then it can be, completely centered. That's looking pretty good. I don't love the type, so I'm going to do one more thing. I'm going to click inside the text frame, Command A to select everything. And then I'm going to do my drop down and find a type that I think is nicer. The secret with type is to keep it simple. And we'll talk a lot more about that as we go through the class. Okay, looking pretty cool. Let's do one more thing to our page before we go on. Let's add a color behind our initials because that sounds fun. So to add a color to this page, we need to fill a frame with color. So if you go over into your toolbar and grab the rectangle tool, which is a vector drawing tool, and then come out onto your page, you'll see your little crosshairs. And you can start way out here on your desktop because the only thing that's going to print and show up is what's on your page. So we could start way out here and click and drag a text box to cover our whole page. And then we need to pull out our swatches. If you don't see swatches or a panel that you need, remember you can always go up to the InDesign menu at the very top of your screen to the Windows drop down, and then you can grab what you need from there. These panels, they can also just slide into your dock over here. They can slide in and out as needed. So I'm going to drag the swatches out. And these panels, you can grab the corner and pull them down so that you can see. And in your swatches, you can choose a swatch that's already predetermined. You can also add a new swatch. So if you down at the bottom of this panel, there's a plus button. So this adds a new swatch, and then you can double click into that color and you can start adjusting it with these sliders to find the color that you really want. We're in the print format, so it's going to be CMYK. We'll learn more about this, but if you were doing something for the web, you'd be working in RGB. well, let's keep it on CM1K. And for my raven, I think he should be like, ooh, almost like a midnight blue. Yeah. So when you find something you like, you can say, okay. So this is cool, but right now it's in front of our type. It's in front of our creation. So we need to send this to the back, this rectangle we drew. So to affect it, we have to select it, be sure it's selected, and then go up to the InDesign menu at the very top to object, because it's an object we're affecting. So click on object and then down to arrange and send to back. Yes, looking good. So I'm going to click my W key. That looks cool. It's kind of the color I wanted. But now I can't see my black type on this dark background, so I need to change my type color. So click into your text frame. And then on your swatches panel, you'll see a little T at the top of the panel. And if you hover over it, it says formatting affects text. And that's what we want. The other one is formatting affects container or object. So let's go to text. And right now you can see in this little T right here, it's on black. So let's make that white. Nice. When you're looking at the text there and object, there's a fill and a stroke and a little arced arrow at the top of these two squares. So if you click that little arced arrow, you can see it changed the white fill to a white stroke, which is not what we want, and it doesn't look bad. Generally, you'd like to stay away from strokes if possible, because they don't look awesome unless it's very intentional. And we wouldn't want to do a color stroke on our text, because also that looks kind of gross. So let's just leave our text white, and I'm gonna say, yeah, that's done. All right, so in the instruction it says print, trim, and hang on our board outside, but since we're virtual, we're not gonna be doing that. So go ahead, let's be sure we're saving. I forgot to say that. All the way through your process, be sure you're saving a lot in case something happens. We all know how that goes when your computer just crashes. So be sure you're saving a lot. And let's go ahead and good. It's File, Save As. And then you can choose where to put it. We already named it, your name, animal initials. So hopefully you have a folder and a flash drive set up on your desktop or whatever you're working on, and you can just start saving all of your projects into that folder, because we don't want to lose them. In case something happens, you'll need to, be sure you have them in case you need to resubmit them or anything else. So go ahead and save that where you need it. And let's do File, Export, and let's export a PDF file. You'll see the export window come up, and at the bottom you will see a drop-down menu for format, and in here you want to save Adobe PDF for print. This is the standard format you will send to your commercial printers when you're working as a graphic designer. This is the industry standard for the file you will send to your printers, whether it's a postcard, a tiny postcard, or a 64-page magazine, or anything else, or a gigantic billboard. It's our industry standard for commercial printing. Okay, so hit that Adobe PDF for print, save. And then an export Adobe PDF dialog box will come up. You can leave all of that at the defaults and hit export. And then you're done. You should be able to see the PDF you created wherever you saved it. And then you will turn that in on Moodle where that little hand is. and it says to turn it in. So I hope that helps. I'll talk to you guys later.